The Divorce is Not an Option podcast. It's your mans, Stephen James Dixon, Tamara Gillespie. Please be sure to subscribe and follow our podcast on all podcast platforms. Don't just listen to an episode, subscribe to follow the podcast. To subscribe, search for the name Divorce is Not an Option on your podcast platform of choice. The purpose of subscribing is so that each week when we produce a new episode, that episode will be delivered to your mobile device or email automatically, seamlessly, effortlessly. You don't have to do anything. You just get it. It just come right in. You just get a message, bing, pop up, hey, new episode, Divorce Not an Option. Check it out. We appreciate those of you who listen on Facebook to our podcast, but you cannot subscribe to Facebook. You can only subscribe on podcast platforms like iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, Spreaker, Stitcher, just to name a few. For any questions on how to subscribe to the Divorce is Not an Option podcast, email me, ask@stephenjamesdixon.com. Welcome to the Divorce is Not an Option podcast, episode 6. This is the relationship coach extraordinaire, Stephen James Dixon. Please welcome my wonderful co-host, Tamara Gillespie.
Thank you, thank you. You are now listening to the smooth sounds of Tamara Gillespie.
You just gonna laugh? I didn't say smooth sounds one time, so now you own that. You didn't commandeer my line.
I like it. It's mine.
Just gonna commandeer my line, huh? Okay.
Keep it moving.
Well, first, I appreciate everyone listening the last couple of weeks. Tamara and I have been able to hook up because I've had a family emergency. Sadly, we lost my wonderful, amazing, best mother-in-law in the world. We lost my mother-in-law, Alberta Jones, to a stroke. Only 66 years old.
Wow.
A huge part of our lives. I mean, what's funny about when I think about her, well, not funny, I don't know the right words. I'm not used to dealing with death.
Yeah,
I'm blessed enough to not have dealt with, right. I'm blessed enough to not have dealt with a lot of death.
Right.
But I laugh when I think about her because she was so funny and we shared so many jokes, and all of my thoughts are about things I would have shared with her and we would have laughed.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I was really impressed with the eulogy that she was given. He talked about her smile so much, and she just always had an infectious smile.
She did. She'll be missed.
Yeah.
Definitely lift us up in prayer for those, my praying listeners out there and all that. We need it. My wife has been strong. She's been amazing. She's handled it, very well, which of course shows the type of woman that her mother raised. It's just tough. It's just tough to lose.
She was definitely the consummate first lady, and my heart goes out to your whole family.
That's right. You've known her way longer than me.
Yeah, she was the pastor's wife at my grandmother's church. So, yeah.
Grandma church.
Right. It's been a minute.
Yeah, she'll be missed. Episode 6, we're going to talk about why I married a black woman.
Amen.
Why I married a black woman. And so, but first we're going to talk a little bit, are we going to talk about the former rapper Trick Daddy?
Oh my God. Definitely emphasis on former. Like, he's not even relevant anymore, but he's still talking.
Trick Daddy said, you know what I need to do? I need to pull that audio in, but I'm sure people heard it by now. You want to talk about what Trick Daddy said?
No, I'm not even ready yet. I'm still trying to calm down for that. It was just ridiculous. After that, we were supposed to be talking about, I still read the article segment and finishing up with the Spotlight article of the week, your article, Why I Married a Black Woman. So let's just skip Trick Daddy for now.
Okay, so this week, what did I do this week? Okay, this week I had a one-on-one with a man yesterday, and what I talked to that man about is being confident in the marriage. Like in terms of, like, at some point in all relationships or in all marriages, well, actually all relationships, you have to have some level of confidence that your partner will complete their side of the agreement.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point.
That's the whole point of having a contract. That's the whole point of making an agreement.
Right.
And what happens is in marriages is you get to the point where you have not only self-doubt, but you doubt your partner, and that impacts your decision making.
Oh, I think that's the whole that is one of the biggest problems in relationships in general. Like, you just can't give your partner the benefit of the doubt.
Yes, yes. And what's funny about that is I hate using that term. I hate using the term "give your partner the benefit of the doubt" because it's kind of watered down, kind of generic, kind of seems like you're really losing when you're doing that. But it's so necessary in marriage.
Exactly. I mean, the bottom line is you can never be 150% sure what's going on in another person's head, even if it is your partner. But part of what makes relationships work is saying, hey, I trust you to have my back. I trust you to have my best interest at heart. Even if you messed up, I trust that you still had, the right motivation.
Right. And knowing that I trust you today, also giving your partner to understand when you give them the benefit of the doubt that I trust you tomorrow also.
Amen. Amen.
And
That's
next
the hard
week
one.
and next right, that's the hard one. So and what I mean by I trust you tomorrow is that when something goes wrong tomorrow, that you're not evaluating your trust based on what happens today.
Right.
Because any given day you could be like, right now I could be like, where my wife at? All
Right.
day long, I want my wife at home, the baby. Is she with somebody else? What is she doing? She answer the phone. My wife could be worried about what I'm doing. You got another woman, that you counseling with. You counseling her a whole lot. You know what I mean? Like all
Yeah.
of that could be happening, but you have to at some point arrive at, you know what? I've been with this person. I know this person. I trust this person. This person has high moral character, has high ethics. This person wants to be married. This person is happy. I'm sure of it. And so if you're able to do those things, then you have to give your partner the benefit of the doubt.
Exactly. Exactly. You just have to let it go and let it know that, there is a reason that you chose this person. And hopefully that is because that person does have the character set that you want and does have that foundation and knows right from wrong. And that's what matters.
Yes, and so you cannot, again, the point I'm making here is that you cannot evaluate your partner every time there's a misunderstanding. At some point, and I read a parable one time that says that when you get married, you have to close one eye, meaning that you can't fight about everything. Like, so any given day, me and my wife have 10 things that we could potentially fight about. From, who's going to make Ethan's breakfast, to who's
Right.
going to change Emery's diaper,
Right.
to who's going to pay the lawn service, to
Right.
who's going to go to the dry cleaners, to who's going to make dinner. We can fight about any number of things.
You gotta let some stuff go.
Literally
Yep.
half of it
But then
don't
the
argue
opposite,
about.
the
Literally.
converse,
Yes.
the converse of that can be true in keeping both eyes open, because it's kind of the same thing as saying, this whole political season, I'm going to take this sound bite and I'm going to put it on Facebook and everybody can see this, but you didn't see the whole speech in its context. So you got to look at the whole relationship in its context and not this one little incident.
Exactly. One of the big things I talk to people about is saying that the problem, when you have a problem, the problem is the problem, and the problem is not the marriage.
Amen.
Right.
Amen.
And so people start taking in the problem as the whole, and it's not, it is a problem that is over here. It is something that we're working on. It's something that we're going to figure out. It's something we're going to compromise on because
And
we've
that's the whole
compromised in the past.
Yep.
Another couple I had, a couple actually that I had, we talked about forgiving and healing, which is a constant theme in
Oh
relationships.
my gosh. Yeah.
Anybody that comes to me for relationship coaching, we talking about forgiveness and healing on a consistent basis. And when I talk about forgiveness and healing, what I'm saying is forgiveness is for the person that hurt you, right? Forgiveness is always thinking it's for them. And no. Forgiveness, if my wife hurts me, I give her forgiveness. Now, in conjunction with forgiveness is healing, meaning that if I forgive my wife, but if I haven't healed from what she did to me, then I'm going to have to forgive her again.
Yep. Well, one thing that you've said in the past that really has struck me is that a lot of marriages, 9, 10, 15, 20 years down the road are still fighting over things that happen in 1, 2, 3 years, the first few years of the marriage. And so at that point, you 10, 15 years, just marinating on this, you should have let it go 7 years ago.
Yes, going back to what we said earlier about giving your partner the benefit of the doubt, but now forgiveness and healing. And so what happened probably is in those scenarios is they forgave, but it didn't heal. And so healing is an active state. Like people think you just heal over time. Like someone says, I'm sorry, and you accept their apology, but that doesn't mean you really healed.
So how do you do that?
the way you go about healing is an active state. And what I mean by active state is got to be something that you are actively doing. You have to participate in. You got to write yourself notes. You got to think it through. What do you need? Like one of the things I do with couples or women, like say for example, I got a woman that husband cheated on them. What do you need to feel comfortable first about the whereabouts of your husband every day?
Yeah.
You know? Okay, the husband calls you every 2 hours. You got GPS on him. You got the bank account statement. You got his social security number. You got everything. And he's doing everything that you asked him to do. He's coming to me for relationship coaching. He's going to a therapist for anger management, for, psychological analyzation, whatever. He's doing everything that you can ask him to do. And he's been consistently doing it for 2 years. Now it's time to look at you and say, okay, now I have to look in the mirror and say, I'm not dealing with the same man I had 2 years ago.
So what if you can't forgive?
You have to forgive. It's not, I'm glad you asked that question. Forgiveness, if you can't forgive, you can't be married. Period, point blank. If you cannot forgive, you cannot be married. Marriage is not for you. Because another thing too about forgiveness is I'm able to forgive because of my imperfections. Right? And so I know in advance that when my wife makes a mistake, that I don't need to go at her as if I'm perfect. I go at her thinking about the things that I've done that she don't know nothing about yet.
Amen. Amen.
Wait, honey, there's really, everything. Don't worry about it. Add the disclaimer in, what I'm saying? You know everything.
You forgive because at some point you're going to need forgiveness.
Either I've been forgiven or I will need forgiveness.
Exactly.
And so I'm imperfect, and so it's easier for me to forgive if I equate my imperfections.
Okay.
And so, and you'd be surprised how many people I actually have to teach and explain that to. Like I got a couple right now where the man has been caught cheating and has cheated with multiple different women, right?
Wow.
The wife emotionally cheated. Right? Like she never had sex. She never had activity, nothing. It was an old boyfriend from years ago that she was having phone conversations with, got inappropriate, but never saw the guy. Husband cannot get over her emotionally cheating.
Even though he cheated like 10, 15 times. Right.
And the reason being he can't, for two things, really. He can't get over it, number one, because he believes that his wife met the guy and cheated. Going back to what we said earlier.
Because that's what he did.
That's what he did, and he won't give her the benefit of the doubt, like we said earlier, right? He won't give it to her, and so because he feels like she's lying, he won't forgive her, and then that goes to the next point we made about your imperfections should allow you to forgive.
Right.
So I tried to talk to the brother about, hey man, you did enough dirt for everybody.
Exactly. And
Even
if she did meet up with him, you have done enough to where you need forgiveness yourself, so you need to stop talking.
He been caught with multiple women, and we talking about one dude.
Wow.
And I said to him, let's say that she did cheat, right? We don't know.
Right.
She's saying she's swearing to God forever on all the kids, everything, on the hand on the Bible, everything, that she's never ever slept with anyone else since she's been married to him, and he will not accept that. And their marriage is stuck right there on that point. And so going back to what you said earlier, Tamara, what if you can't forgive? Forgiveness is a requirement of marriage, right? And so when you marry somebody, you have to be careful to choose a person that is able to forgive, that has that skill set, that understands that forgiveness. Just to go deep in forgiveness for a second, if we look at the construct of the word, it is give, forgive. You're giving something, right? So people can't earn forgiveness.
Look at you with the construct of the word.
Right, construction of the word.
Okay, get it.
You gotta give forgiveness, right? You gotta want to give forgiveness, and once you give forgiveness, then you can start your healing. Now, I say that sometimes, but in actuality, Tamara, I'm not 100% on point in terms of what you have to do first. If you have to do healing for it, or what do you think?
I don't know that there's an order with anybody. I think it's a case-by-case situation, and, everybody has to figure it out for themselves. But the main thing is knowing that you have to get it done.
Yes. I don't know what to do with that. So I have to evaluate as I'm working with the couple if we're going to heal first or if we're going to forgive first.
Yeah.
But I know we have to do both, because one without the other is pointless. There's no point in you healing if you haven't forgiven, and there's no point in you forgiving if you can't heal.
Right.
And so forgiveness, you have to do, and healing you have to do. So with healing, again, last point I make on that is, I am always getting with women and men who've been, and I've got some men too that have been cheated on, and I'm saying to them, once we get to the point where you feel like your spouse is doing everything that you've asked them to do, you think they're remorseful, you don't think that we figured out what drove them to some extent to cheating, and we rectified that. Now it's just about you getting in the mirror, praying and getting in the mirror and saying, okay, I'm not with the same person anymore.
Right.
And once you acknowledge you're not with the same person, that leads you down the path of healing. And so we have to be able to get there.
Yeah. I think you really, as men, if your wife is cheating on you, you really need to evaluate, because 9 times out of 10 it's something you did. Like there's that small percentage that are just hoish out there, but for the most part, if a woman is cheating on her man, he did something.
I'm trying to decide if I'm going to just let you just slide in that time.
I'm gonna move on to the next topic. Today's I Still Read Article segment is about an article that I read called I lost my article.
I lost the article too. You lost it.
See, really?
Oh, Black Women Deserve Real Love.
Black Women Deserve Real Love too. And so the article was written by Lasha, and it's posted to ebony.com on October 26, 2016. And the article is actually about Sierra's love life and how some people are criticizing her because she's pregnant by her new husband. Like, really?
You know what? This article is a perfect example of why you actually have to read articles. Hence the segment, I Still Read Articles.
Because people don't read no more. People don't read no more. All they do is this.
We really have to say that this is a new segment that we'll have every podcast where Tamara and I have gone and read and researched and analyzed and thought about. And the whole thing, not just a tweet. Somebody said that to me, Tam. Oh, sidebar. Somebody said that to me today, Tam. They said, Stephen, you're on Twitter, and I'm sure you've seen what they've been talking. And I'm like, no, I don't do that. Like, I don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we are now the older generation, because nowadays, if anything is more than, 142 characters, they can't read it.
140. Somebody just tripped off you right there.
Okay.
But I don't
even have a Twitter account.
I don't get my information from Twitter or from Facebook. Like, it's always, and first of all, if you just say something, I'm not looking at that. But if you got to send me a link with the article, I was taught at a very early age, you got to have reference material.
Exactly. And
if I see somebody talking about something, if you don't have no link with the article that I can go research on my own and read on my own, I'm not feeling it at all.
Yep. Okay, but let's get back to the article. Black women deserve real love too.
And so what I really saw in this article was it had this big title about Black women deserve real love, and talking about how people was bashing her husband and all, bashing her for being pregnant, when really what it looked like, once I dug into it and looked through the comments of the hate, it was really like 2 people or 3 people or whatever, a minute amount of people who actually said something negative about Sierra, and then all the other comments were positive stuff and telling the people who were hating to stop hating.
Yeah, but that article was written in reference to people who had said stuff before. So the people who were responding to that article were actually very positive, but that article was written about some messages that had been sent out before, and even some commentary from Future, which of course, he's now irrelevant because she got a new baby daddy. So he's, having issues with, the fact that she was having her husband or her then, boyfriend around their baby. Never mind that she was around his, 15 kids before they got engaged. But, so it's all about Sierra. And I'm like, have we really come to a day and age where we are criticizing somebody for getting pregnant by her husband?
Yeah, man. I don't even have that much on that one. Like, it's just disappointing. But like I said, it was just a big article to me when I thought that it wasn't as many haters I don't know. Maybe you saw more. I didn't see them.
I did in the comments previous to that article that kind of were the impetus for the article. But my thing is, now it just feels like the whole world feels like Black women can't have their happy ending in their love story.
which is why we have the article written by Stephen James Dixon on StephenJamesDixon.com, Why I Married a Black Woman.
Okay, so what you got?
Okay, I want to read a part that I wrote about this article about why I married a black woman. My wife, Lamisha Lachelle Jones, now Dixon, been married for 11 years. October 10th,
Amen,
October
amen.
15th.
Happy belated anniversary.
Yeah, 11 years. We've been doing good too. We on cruise control.
Good job.
Forgive each other fast. Healing comes fast now. We don't even stay mad that long. We don't even have time to be mad at each other. She be like, get out my face. I be like, get out my face. What you want to eat for dinner? She be like, I'm cooking, whatever. Go by. It's all on cruise control. Wait
But you
until
gotta make
y'all
sure you
get
do
here.
checkups though. You can't just float.
Twice a year, we check up.
Okay.
Twice a year. Either on Valentine's Day. If I'm not traveling or something like that, we'll sit down and have a dinner and we'll talk about the things that we want to do differently this year. You know, or talk about the things that we missed in communication or something like that. And then always at the end of the year, you know, around New Year's Eve or something like that. So I'll review. We have a review just like corporate America. You know what I'm saying? Stephen, this is what you could work on better. Misha,
Yeah, you said that before. I'm applauding that. So let's get back to the article.
Okay. I have okay. What I said in the article was, I'm going to read a part. It's not that long.
Okay.
It says, I had to have me a sister. She is who I'm most comfortable with. She understands me. Our struggles are one and the same. We relate to each other on a different level. I need someone that understands that Thanksgiving means collard greens, cornbread, peach cobbler, and honey ham.
Except for those who don't do pig.
Uh-oh, my wife only do turkey. Christmas doesn't mean just Christmas caroling. It means Christmas classics. Christmas classics by the Temptations and Boys II Men.
Oh, let us know.
I got my whole little Christmas ready to go. I got it ready. You know?
Okay.
Just the other day, we was putting up the tree, and the wife was like, "Hey, I need the Christmas music just to put up the tree. We can't even put the tree up without the classics, right?"
All right, get back on task.
I had to marry a black woman because I need someone that understands why my cousin stole money out of his mother's. He understands that. There ain't got to be no whole explanation. He gets my cousin stole the money. She gets that. That just happens sometimes. Right? I need somebody to watch Love Jones with me over and over and over again. Right? I need someone that when I walk in the house, when I yell out, "Nights like this, I wish that raindrops would fall." I need that.
Amen.
I need that. You know what I'm saying? Now, having said that, I'm not mad at you if you don't need that.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody.
I'm not mad at you. And I put that on. You know what? I meant to pull that audio in. I missed it. But I put on Facebook, if you married a black woman, to comment or to leave a voicemail. We got a couple of voicemails. I failed of pulling those into the podcast. I didn't even let you listen to them. But people are really upset about that. And I was like, hey, this is just for conversation. I have a friend.
What are they upset about?
Just since I posed the question, they assumed that I was making a stance. And I wasn't making a stance. I was posing a question for conversation. So when I said, hey, if you married a black woman, call into the show or leave feedback, they're like, what's wrong with marrying a black woman? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, wait.
Oh, they thought the opposite.
Right. Like I was saying something against the black woman. I'm like, no, it's just for conversation.
Well, you know, we sensitive because, Trick Daddy.
Right. And well, it wasn't just black women. It was black men also, too, that were very sensitive about it. I had a number of black men who married Caucasian women who said something to me about it. I'm like, hey, I don't care who you love. I'm good with everybody. Love whoever loves you, you know. And if you don't need, to watch Love Jones, or maybe your sister, your white sister can watch Love Jones with you. Who knows? I don't know. I don't care. It was more about uplifting the black woman. So I looked at it as a thing, how Black Lives Matter has to be Blue Lives Matter or All Lives Matter. It's not like that. I'm just shouting out my sister.
Yep. Amen to that.
I remember when I first wrote the article, Why I Married a Black Woman, it was rejected by all of the major magazines because, like, the major magazines felt like I was comparing a woman to food. And I was comparing them to
good
gumbo.
food. What's the problem? I love gumbo.
Exactly, but they also all the magazines on the East Coast. They in the city. They didn't get gumbo. They didn't understand that gumbo is an experience.
They know what gumbo is.
The seafood don't travel well.
Ice Cube know what gumbo is. So come on.
That's on the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? We talk about the Jiggers and the Biggies and the Rakims and the Big Daddy Kanes. And more importantly, those sisters on the East Coast was like, you cannot compare woman to a food. And I'm like, gumbo is not a food. Gumbo is an experience. And my point was that gumbo can be spicy. It can be sweet. You know, you put it in the refrigerator. It tastes great today. Then tomorrow it tastes totally different, but it's still great, right?
Mm.
And then there's some things you might not like about the gumbo. I don't like the roux. I don't know what that is, but it
You
makes
don't
the
like the
gumbo right.
roux?
It's called roux or something, right?
Are
Like
you
you put
saying
the
you
roux.
don't like the roux by itself, or you saying you don't like roux and gumbo? Because that's
I
what
don't
makes gumbo.
exactly. I don't like it by itself, but it
Oh, well,
makes the
yeah.
gumbo some kind of way. It's
Yeah.
weird, right? It makes it
You're right.
awesome.
You're
Or I
absolutely
don't
right.
like okra, right? But sometimes you put the okra in a gumbo and it make it right.
Yep. Yep.
And so that to me is the perfect explanation of the black woman, right?
Hmm.
Because it's a lot of things that go into the black woman that we don't like, and it's a lot of things that come out of the gumbo sometimes that might be spicy, might bite you, might be sweet, you know,
Might bite you.
and gumbo spoils very easily.
That's true.
You know, you
That's
put a
true.
cold spoon in a hot pot of gumbo, which I still don't understand, and it spoil the whole thing. Right,
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you go through the processes of how you spoil gumbo and what happens when you?
I don't know how it happens, but yeah, it does happen easily. You have to be very careful.
Right, you gotta wait till it cool all the way down before you
Yep.
put it in the refrigerator.
Yeah, because
You
I
know,
just had that happen last week. I was making gumbo, and for some reason, I decided to do it too late, and I had to stay up all night waiting on that gumbo to cool down.
and then it can't leave, and then you can't leave it out all because it'll spoil
Nope,
again because of the heat.
exactly.
And so
Exactly.
those correlations I made to spoiling the black woman.
I love the way you said that gumbo is an experience, and just like in comparison, a black woman is an experience.
She's so dynamic.
I love
right?
that.
And one of the things I did in the article was I said, stop saying that the black woman don't have no attitude. She got attitude. I'm good with her attitude.
Oh, okay. I like bravo right there, because we need to own who we are.
Just own it, man. Stop this
Yes.
fronting. Stop it. You know,
Yes.
like, and because I don't picture that as a bad thing. You know what? I look at the totality of woman and how she was created. Like I look at what I seen my mother go
Right.
through with men.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
But even, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, you go.
Even to say that you own that does not say that you don't know that you need to grow, that you are not going to be striving to be a better person continually. It's just saying that who I am today, right now, I own this, and I will grow and be a better person tomorrow and the day after and the day after. But for right now, this is what we're dealing with right now, and I love who I am right now.
And the thing about that is I try to teach people is the same things, normally the same things you hate about a person or the things that you dislike about the person, some of the same things that you love about a person, right?
Ooh.
And so my wife will steal me in the face. Like she'll do it. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? If I'm out of line and I deserve it, she gon' and I'm not condoning that for anybody.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
But the point of it is, if somebody disrespected her husband, she'd throw a punch first. She'd throw
Yeah.
a punch before I would. Because
Yeah.
she down for me like that. And so you gotta
And that's
understand.
how you know where the boundaries lay.
Exactly. And so that's how you got to understand this black woman, this sister, that the attitude, the attitude to me is flavor too. You're not bland. You're not, I'm not going to walk over you. I'm not, all those stereotypical things about the black woman, just embrace them. They're
Right.
okay. They
Right.
make you who you are. You got flavor. You spicy. You like gumbo. You good. You okay. But when you're in denial of who you really are, that's when you lose yourself.
That is so true and so real, and something that a lot of black women need to hear, because it's discouraging. I mean, just speaking as a black woman, I have seen so many articles and actually heard men, and actually see in my family that a lot of black men say, "I will not date a black woman." Or even if they don't specifically say it, I hear, well, I date the rainbow, but I'm like, your rainbow is all white. Like, so I don't know what rainbow you think you got, but in reality, it's kind of disheartening when you feel like all of these black men that you are checking for ain't checking for you.
I wish people too, like, this will never happen, but I wish people too would embrace all of the stereotypes that come with this entire conversation. For example,
Right.
I have black male friends, more than one, that have married Latinos or Caucasian women or whatever, Asian women, whatever.
Mhm.
And in every single case that I've seen, those black men are not prepared to handle the attitude of the black woman.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's any knock on those men. Like that's a
Well,
personality trait. Different people like different things.
yes and no. I think also though, for us, speaking again as a black woman, you may have that attitude, but that really is intended to push a man, to help him to grow. We're supposed to be helpmates, and you trying to help him to get to his full potential. So sometimes, what people think is an attitude is really just me trying to help you get to where you need to be.
Right, and that's a positive way of saying it, but it's also sometimes attitude just stank attitude too. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, if you coming home 3 hours later than you said you were gonna be home, don't act like you're not supposed to get an attitude.
Exactly, and that's my point.
And that's me trying to help you be a better person because you don't need to do that no more.
And so what I mean though is that I don't knock my friends or my clients who have not married African American women because they can't handle the attitude. Different people respond differently to different things. Like some teachers I didn't get in college because of their delivery. Some coaches
Yep.
I didn't get in college
Yep.
because I didn't understand how you wanted to motivate me. You wanted to cuss me out. I don't want to be cussed out or whatever. You know what I mean? And I was one of those who didn't care either way.
Yep.
But some people do not respond to aggression or
And the
threats.
the converse is true though. Like what you're saying is we as black women need to stop being so concerned about what the black men who are marrying somebody else are doing. So we need to just say, okay, he wasn't for me. Like you just said, this personality attracted that personality and that just wasn't for me. So don't worry about it.
Don't yes, because I don't and in no way I don't think the average person. There are some people who are like you said. I just want a white woman. I just want a Latino woman, or I
Yep.
don't want a black woman, or whatever. The first thing we're trying to get accomplished with this podcast here is to say to the black woman, embrace who you are. You're fine, no
Right.
matter what's said out there, no matter what anybody says, no matter what anybody thinks, no matter how many black men marry other women or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Black woman, you good. It's okay.
And that's not a
It is what it
reflection
is.
on who you are.
It's not a reflection on who you are. It's not a reflection on the culture or
Right.
the genre or the race or whatever of the black woman. Black woman, you have to be you because that's how you're made. So when I look at the black woman too, and the also thing I said in the article was the attitude comes from the survival that black woman has had to have throughout the years.
Right.
The black woman is a survivor. There's no tougher human being walking the face of this earth, right? Just because of the survival of going through slavery, being with massa, you know what I'm saying? And then you come out of massa and now you're dealing with men who are not
Yep.
taking care of their business, not raising
Yep.
their kids, don't want to
Yep.
get married, all that kind of stuff. And so when you have a black woman that's gone through that, see, it's easy for me to say that I understand the attitude of the black woman because I ultimately believe, well, let me say this point. It's easy for me to say I understand the attitude of the black woman because I ultimately believe that if I love the black woman, she will have no attitude.
I think that's true to a certain extent. I don't think, though, that black men really understand what black women go through. I do think that we are constantly trying to be there for our men, and we have a vision of us as unified. I mean, like in the words of Beyonce, you hurt me, you hurt yourself. And so that's our whole philosophy. But then you want to go get Becky with the good hair and it just hurts us, So that's why we need to learn to, one, embrace who we are regardless of what's being said about it. And two, recognize that if somebody is saying something about it or if somebody's gone in a different direction, that just wasn't for us.
Right. And then we may have to be, because how do I say this? Like, I believe the attitude from the black woman has come from a place where she's been hurt, right? She's been hurt by her father or her uncle or disappointed, you know what I'm saying? By that first boyfriend, that second. See, I think Tamara,
First, second, third, fourth, and fifth.
all the boyfriends and the
All of them.
fiance. You know what I'm saying? At some point, I've hurt the black woman. And the thing about the black woman is, I've had a woman tell me before, it might have been you, Tamara, who said to me that the woman, not just the black woman, but the woman is not built to defend herself against the man.
Yeah. I've said that to you on multiple occasions because you're
Right.
constantly telling me to set boundaries and telling women to set boundaries. And I'm constantly telling you, we are designed to hand ourselves to men or to a man and say, I'm yours.
And protect me.
Yes, that is
Keep
your job. I shouldn't have to set boundaries. Your job is to set the boundaries and protect me.
right. And so what you said was woman is not constructed to protect herself.
Exactly. And so now that we've had to build that protection in ourselves, it looks like an attitude.
It looks like an attitude. It is an attitude, but it's a shield, really. And that's
Yep.
why I said that shield is brought down, is destroyed by love. Like, so black men, the ones that have problems with black women, just love them. That's all you got to do. Just see through whatever hurt, anger, pain, frustration, disappointment that she got going on, and know that if you just love that woman the way she need to
Amen.
be loved,
Amen.
that you will have everything that you ever dreamed of out of any type of relationship that you want.
She wants to trust that you will be faithful and that you will take care of home. Like once that man has instilled that trust in his woman, she's gonna give him the world.
Which leads us to Trick Daddy.
Oh Lord.
Hold on. I could just read what he said. Trick Daddy said, well, basically, he just said that black women are only good for frying chicken. He said that once other women learn how to fry chicken.
He obviously ain't had no good gumbo.
Yeah, he from Miami. I don't know what they doing with that gumbo if he think it's only about fried chicken.
But whatever. Again, that's one of the ones you can just go on your way and keep it moving.
And when I saw it, man, I immediately looked at his Twitter and his Instagram to try and see, did he apologize somewhere? Like I was like, he can't be serious. Like, this has gotta be a joke.
He meant every word he said. I'm just so tired of these Negroes who just think that they can just talk about people the way they want to. I'm recognizing more and more as I'm maturing that I'm not going to let your craziness that's coming out your mouth affect me. But that's just ridiculous. There's some little girl who hearing that and is internalizing that message.
Yeah, that's disappointing. We ain't gonna spend a lot of time on it.
Yeah, no, he don't deserve no time.
Okay. You know what? We didn't talk about politics since last time we talked.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Can you believe that Donald Trump, of all people, is going to be the next president of the United States of America?
Have you accepted it yet?
No, it ain't sunk in.
I just can't. Like, I still just driving in the car just on a random day. Like, I cannot believe Donald Trump.
I saw somewhere during the election that they said he has all the credentials of Kris Kardashian or Kris Jenner, and I'm just like, that's very true. Like, she's built a business and a brand and made a whole bunch of money off of it, and she's a reality TV star, and she has absolutely no political experience. Like, how do we make a reality TV star the president?
No, well, really, it's worse than that because Chris, we know, has made money. Donald, we don't know has made money. Like, I just read a report
You ain't never
today.
lied.
Yeah, because Donald don't want to release his taxes. But I read today that he owes like a Chinese bank $300 million. I read that he owns a German bank $300 million, but he owns a Chinese bank even more than that. And there's also been reports of he really doesn't make money. The only thing that really makes money is his name.
Brand.
Is his brand. That's it. Nothing that he's ever tried to create has worked. When he
doesn't even own half of the buildings that have his name on it.
Right. I think less than that. Like you said, half. You're giving him half. I don't think.
Yeah, I'm trying to give him some credit, but I mean,
because what he'll do if you follow his business plan is he borrows the money from somewhere else anyway to build a building. That's a part of his portfolio. That's his plan is to use someone else's money.
But this is all of this is like crazy. Like, am I living in an alternate reality? I saw a meme the other day that had Michelle Obama holding up a sign, and she had done it for the original. I've seen the original picture that was Bring Our Girls Back when they had the girls. But somebody changed it to say my job is being taken by an immigrant. I fell out laughing. But all of this is just so crazy. As much as he talks about immigration and he's married to an immigrant. And then they're not even moving into the White House. It's not good enough for them.
Well, I want to all that stuff with the birth certificate for Obama.
Oh my
now
Lord.
The first lady we know was born somewhere else.
Yes.
I saw a meme one time where they were giving Michelle a hard time for not wearing sleeves when she wore a dress.
Oh yes, but now they got naked pictures of Melania all over the internet.
Yeah, and no one's gonna say nothing about that, man. And it's just But it's more so. But at the same time, Tamara, you know what? I'm trying to start taking a step back and saying 59 million people voted for this dude, right? So we could take off maybe, 25% that were just racist. Maybe could take off another 25% who were just staunch Republicans and will never vote for a Democrat, right?
Mm-hmm.
That still leaves us with 25 million
Yes,
people.
I have had friends actually try to explain to me why it made sense for them to vote for Trump. I still can't. It's not sinking in. It is
I don't,
not sinking in.
what do they say? What do they say?
Oh, because he's going to possibly, this was so crazy. You've already decided somebody going to die. He's possibly picking, up to 3 Supreme Court justices in the next, 4 years. So I'm like, you voted for somebody based on a possibility of something, that may not ever even come to pass, but he has said real stuff, and they're ignoring this. They're like, oh, well, comments he made, 16 years ago or 11 years ago, whatever it was, they don't matter. I'm like, no, I'm talking about the comments he made last year, this year. Like, how are we ignoring that?
Right. And the thing too, when people talk about he's going to bring back jobs, right?
He
It's,
can't.
it's number one, it's documented that he has no care about America. If he cared about America, he would pay his taxes.
Amen.
If he cared about America, remember, did you see the David Letterman interview when nothing he had on was
Oh
made?
yeah, it was all made in China.
And then he already, well, maybe not currently, he already paid, I believe. I have to look this one up again. There was something about him using steel from China. Did you see that?
Yes. This whole platform was vote for me because I know all the tricks of the trade that have been messing up our country and I can fix them. Basically, I did everything that's wrong with this country. I did everything. I took advantage of everything. So because I took advantage of it, you should vote for me.
Right. Now, but part of it, we can say he does know the tricks. I'll give him the tricks, right? But if you never did anything to help America, like all of a sudden now you're going to start helping America?
Right.
You know what I mean? So like you took advantage of America for all these years, didn't pay taxes, didn't get your ties built in America, didn't get your suits built in America, didn't even get your steaks from America when you had Trump steaks, Trump Airlines.
Yep.
Everything is outsourced. Even while he was running for president, he hired 75 people to work in his resort in Florida from Europe. Did you hear about that one?
Oh my goodness, I hadn't heard about that. But I mean,
that one. This is like maybe 4 or 5 months ago. He actually submitted something to the immigration or whatever that said he couldn't find 75 people that he needed to work in his hotel in Florida. You gotta look that up because it's.
But the bottom line is, all his money has been made on taking advantage of people.
Right.
All of it, and we're okay with that.
And now people think that all of a sudden he's just because he knows, where the loopholes are in taxes. Now he's going to help us. Like I don't get how people arrived at it. But at the same time, like I said, easily it's 25 million people that thinks that he's going to do the right thing.
The inherent problem with Make America Great Again is making the assumption that we're going to roll back time. In all reality, you're not going to get people to give up their cell phones and start using rotary phones. You cannot turn back technology. You just can't. So it's going to move forward. Things are going to change whether you like it or not. Coal is losing out as far as its viability. Gas is moving out. So
I think I read yesterday that Canada has stopped using coal completely.
Exactly. So I'm like, this is the wave of the future. You cannot just ignore it.
Now, but the other thing about it is we would be fine with the wave if there were tariffs that allowed Americans to compete with jobs in other places.
Yep.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine today who basically said TPP can't be that bad. And I'm like, well, what do you know about it? He's like, it just can't be that bad. The presidents wouldn't make these arrangements if the deals were that bad. And I simply said, well, you know what? Let me give a simple example of TPP, right? And so like America is making a deal with Malaysia. America is making a deal with Venezuela, right? So when would Mercedes-Benz, and I'm comparing Mercedes-Benz to America, right? Okay. When does Mercedes-Benz make a deal with Suzuki? Never. When does Nike make a deal with Pro Wings? Never.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? When does Ferragamo, a red bottom, make a
Did
deal
you say
with Payless?
Ferragamo?
Yeah, what you call them? What you call that in town?
Ferragamo. You're done. You're done.
Ferragamo.
Okay, we out of time anyway. You made your point. Keep moving.
And so the point is that if a company or someone that is on one level makes a deal with someone on another level,
It
then it
helps the
can't be
lower
good for the
level.
company. It only can help the lower level because
Right,
the purpose of the deal is to make them on an equal is to find some kind of
right,
level playing field.
right.
That's the purpose. And so then we have to look at what are we doing? What are the products that are going to be on the same level playing field now?
Right.
And the problem in America is all of these things on a level playing field now. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And so there's a level playing field. So even things like
But you know
trout,
what?
salmon, all that stuff is different now.
So, but think about that though, because that is the philosophy that we have on a global level. So we're always preaching about socialism. That is the ultimate socialism. So if that's what we say we stand by, why not?
Oh, wait a minute. You're saying that TPP is socialism?
Yes, on a global level.
I never thought about it like that. You're right. You know, you're right. And as long as wow, you're right. Um, I have to think about that some more. And see how I feel about that. I mean, I mean, that's tough because I like the idea of helping other people, but
Uh-huh.
I don't like the idea of one person helping other people. Like if you spread around the wealth here in America, then all of us can help Ethiopia or Venezuela or whoever. But right now, only the people at the top can help.
But you talking about spreading the wealth so we can send money. They are actually sending jobs.
Right.
And so you can, give a man a fish or you can teach a man to fish.
Right. And so the last point on this I'll make is that for people who don't really understand TPP, trade, deals and all those types of things, go look up trade deficit. Like the trade deficit in the United States is increasing every year simply because we do not build products in America anymore.
Amen.
Just
Yep.
any day, any given day, just look at
Yep.
anything you got and see where it was made. Like it's just any given day, wake up and see if anything you have on was made in America. Like
Hmm.
nothing.
Hmm.
No matter where you bought it from, was made in America. Like, it's
Yep.
just,
Yep. All right.
it's
Let's wrap it up.
Divorce Not an Option podcast. To all the people listening, be sure to subscribe and follow everywhere you listen to podcasts. Subscribe and follow on iTunes, on Google Play, on YouTube, on Spreaker, on SoundCloud. Share with your friends, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and keep listening. And every week we'll try to get in here and give you something to listen to. Tamara, any other thing to
Nope.
add?
See y'all next week.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. Bye.